Wow, it is bright.
It is bright.
Welcome back to Elevate with Alicia. If I'm a little squinty, it's just a little bright out here, but that's okay. And I'm here with, we know, Anna.
Hey.
And we're here with Heidi.
Hello.
The special guest of the day. I know her by Heidi Huber. I went to high school with her about 21 years ago.
Wild. It's wild.
So long ago. Sports. She's
ago.
a tremendous athlete. She ran track with me. She did a little bit of basketball, but she kind of dipped on us. So there's that.
Oh, I tell you, I love basketball, but it's true. Only made it a few years and then.
It's okay. I always wondered, but she finally opened up to me that just, it wasn't her main sport, and that's okay. She wanted to perfect track.
Yep. And it was worth it. I missed basketball, but I don't think I would have had as many opportunities if I would have kept playing basketball that I had in track. So it was worth it.
She went to Italy because of track.
So yeah, went to your...
Wait, I didn't know that.
Yeah, in college we spent some time as a team in Europe for about 2.5 weeks, and Italy was one of the stops. So
that is the one bonus of going Division I that I can talk about. Different.
It was cool.
Most D2 schools will not do that, and I'll bring that up on a different convo. But we got to go to Russia together for a Junior Olympics when that
was a tremendous opportunity. Yeah,
I was a sophomore and you were a senior.
It was the summer before your junior year, my senior year.
That's right, because we're a year apart.
That's what you said.
And 2 other athletes that were on our team too, 2 males, but that was such a fun trip. So we've done a lot together.
We're in Russia.
Moscow.
You said it like it's like the only place.
Like where else would you go? It was literally Utah versus Moscow. It was crazy.
It was wild.
It was so not fair. Utah's tiny compared to like Moscow.
Yeah.
We did all right. It was fun.
You guys get
Here's all I remember. All I remember is, because I was still pretty shy then, all I remember is I couldn't eat their food. And so when I saw the McDonald's, I freaked out. I was like, food!
Everyone did. They went wild.
And the
McDonald's,
cookies.
I wasn't a McDonald's fan then.
And the cookies at the front desk. And I remember getting you to eat them, and then you got super sick because you eat so freaking healthy, and I didn't have those habits growing up.
Over the top, though. It was not healthy. We'll say that.
With the same broken.
This
taste.
Commentator over here is going to be great.
Their broken taste.
Yeah. But anyway, so Heidi, we haven't even met up in the last 21 years. I feel like I ran into you in maybe at Costco.
Maybe
something
here
like
and there
that.
Through coaching. I've tried to get you to coach track over the years.
Oh yeah, so we've reached out though, but we never
with me a few times on some athletes.
Okay.
But
But
it still feels. It's Alicia. This is great.
Yeah, we see each other. So she watched one of my videos, and this is the power of vulnerability. I've been prompted to just start opening up about a lot of things. For me, I realize it helps us all know that we're human, that a lot of us have gone through a lot of things, especially in this day and age. And when we can kind of bring it to light to help others and bring awareness and what healing looks like, this is kind of why Heidi's here today too, is to share one of her very vulnerable stories that impacted not just her sports, but her adult life. And so I'm just going to ask her some questions so that she can start sharing that story of that. Because I even realized when we talked last time, I want to talk about this more of we could have been even tremendously better athletes if we didn't have such crazy wires from lots of different things growing up.
100%.
So this is hey, we're taking the bullet for young people.
I've learned that we overcame a lot to be able to do what we did. Yes, we could have been better, but it still is a great story.
And it's not an excuse either. It's just more saying it's crazy when you start to heal that you're man, I wonder how far I could have gone. But I try to take that philosophy just into my life of how far can I go as a human now? How much can I expand myself the more that I grow, so I can help other people do that too, which is basically what I do for coaching in life. So anyway, so I'm going to start asking Heidi some questions. Heidi, I know you have such, now that I know the whole story, you have such a crazy story of, at such a young age. So if you could share with our audience, what happened at such a young age
for sure.
to start.
Yeah, I want to give a little bit of a summary. I think it helps understand why the healing journey was so necessary and finally made such a big difference. With this red hat, if I can, I went to BYU, so I'm like, I love Alicia. I'm gonna pretend like it's not red.
Hey.
Anyway, it's fine. Yes, so I grew up, family, there was some definite family struggles, but that is a completely different story. So I'm gonna kind of focus on what happened as a result. I was seeking just anybody at a time of life, very vulnerable. So 7th grade, 13 years old.
So young.
Was definitely having some big struggles, and I didn't even comprehend, I don't think, what the magnitude of those were having on me. I just knew that I was sad, and I do remember thinking, is this normal? Like, do all people have struggles like this? So anyway, there was, yeah, right? Like I just think, maybe
why has everybody else got it together and I'm over here like, am I okay?
I'm like, is this just how it's going to be forever? Is this normal life? Like, I don't think I realized how hard my childhood was until I started realizing that, oh, okay, this wasn't normal. Anyway, but as a result, I'm just seeking out, there was a school psychologist, and from here on out, so child psychologist.
Child psychologist,
a doctorate in child psychology. But from here on out, I'm going to call him my abuser. And I actually didn't do that last time we talked.
You didn't,
but
yeah.
That actually feels more comfortable today. So that's what I'm going to call him.
Cool, I love it.
But 7th grade, he was very friendly with everyone, and just one of those teachers, role models, adult role models that you want to, you just felt like drawn to him, and he would be helpful, and you'd see him help, many kids. And I ended up being his aide. So they'd have aides where, you'd go get kids out of class when the counselors or whoever needed to go talk to them. So I would, go get kids out of class. And there was one day I was in 8th grade. It was like the winter, I think it was January of my 8th grade year, and was really struggling. I was like, okay, I see kids go in there, they talk to him, so I guess maybe that's appropriate. But he came and sat down next to me one day, and he's like, you look like, are you okay? You look like you're having a bad day. And he's like, why don't you come in my office? Let's talk. So I kind of opened up to him a little bit about what I was experiencing and my struggles, and it just felt so good to have somebody to talk to. Mm-hmm. And he was very helpful that first time. Even the second time I met with him, I want to say I probably met with him weekly for maybe a month, so 4 or 5 times. Mm-hmm. And he asked me to start babysitting for him. At first it was with another friend, and we would go together, and it was great. And he would still meeting with him at school, talking to him about my struggles. But then there was one day, this was probably a couple months into talking to him, he handed me a letter as I was walking through the halls in between classes. He'd stand out in the hallways and talk to kids, and kind of like a hall monitor in between classes. Handed me a letter, just, how's your day going? If you need to talk to me, just let me know. Pretty innocent, or so I thought. Anyway, and so I did. I looked at him, gave him the head nod of, I'd love to, call me down to your office. So it started becoming more frequently that he would call me down multiple times a week.
Wow.
And
multiple.
Yeah. And there was one time where he told me he loved me. And
you're 14.
14 at this time. Woo. That's crazy. 8th grade year. Spring of my 8th grade.
And he's how old?
He was either 36, he's probably 36 or 7 at that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's in love with the
married
14-year-old.
Married with kids.
Kids, children of his own. Yes. And in my eyes, I had built this relationship of okay, he's trying to help me. Does he love me? Which way? At that point, I wasn't thinking of it as a romantic kind of love. I was just kind of like, oh, okay, he really cares about me.
You want attention and love,
like a daughter or something.
Yeah, I kind of viewed it like that. Father figure, more so. Anyway, but then it progressed pretty rapidly from there, where I would start babysitting on my own without my friend. He would just ask me singly. His bachelor's degree was in music therapy, and he would make cassette tapes Back in the day before CDs, you could even burn CDs. He was making cassette tapes with music, with and he'd have notes attached to them with like 20 songs, and each song would have a description of like and I'll give you an example, like Tim McGraw, My Best Friend. One of the songs, that was one of the songs on there, and he would, you are my best friend, and I hope we can be friends forever, and I love you, and I want to be with you forever.
Whoa.
And he would just have like 3 or 4 sentences that would describe each song. I mean, it progressed pretty rapidly to, I want to marry you someday. I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but I'm convinced that when you're older, we'll be able to run away and get married.
Wow.
It quickly went.
What?
Yes. It quickly
I'm convinced.
turned.
He said that word. Like, I'm convinced we're going to get married one day. That's wild.
Yeah. And I was
That's wild.
pretty much, I mean, I held on to that. I thought, okay, I trust this guy. I think that will happen. I'm sure it will.
I want to, yeah.
Yep. I feel safe with him. I feel he's helping me. So yeah, okay. If he says that that's possible, I guess that is possible.
Right.
I didn't know any different. I didn't know any better. He, springtime, late spring, turned into late spring, and he actually got an offer to go work at a university in Wisconsin. And he let me know one afternoon, I was devastated. He was like, it's okay. We'll still instant message. And at this point we were emailing quite frequently as well as instant messaging. And he would, if you ever need some like dial-up internet was still a thing, I'd get on late at night.
We're a little older.
I know. He actually would give me, do you remember the free, you guys wouldn't remember this, there used to be free AOL CDs that you could get like free internet. He would like send me home with a 30-day free trial.
Wow.
So he's like, you can get on tonight, we can chat.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's provided.
Yeah, sure did.
Wow.
Anyway, it progressed throughout the summer. He didn't leave until it was midsummer, I'd say. But like there was kissing, like French kissing involved. Like it was like, you're my future. We're gonna have kids together. He would say that.
That's wild.
And definitely just became, I just clung to that, and I thought, okay, this guy's serious. He ended up moving to Wisconsin for the teaching job. He would still write, we would still email. He would send, there was once for my birthday, I guess it would have been my 15th birthday in September, he sent me a package from Wisconsin with like the local university info. And he's like, I was running, getting pretty heavily into track at that point.
Yep.
You can come run. They've got a beautiful track program here.
Wow.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful track with an awesome track team. And hopefully, and was definitely still pursuing things, and then we would continue to instant
So you
message.
obviously you knew his wife and everybody because you babysat a little bit.
Yeah. Yep.
How old were the kids?
At that time, I would put 7 and probably 4.
Oh, okay.
7 and 4. He did have other kids from a previous marriage as well, but older kids that were actually closer to
Like, so
my
your
age.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Yep. Anyway.
Did you have any sense, real quick, that he was like doing this with anybody else?
No. I definitely felt like it was
Special.
I was his person, and we were I was gonna move to Wisconsin and run track. Like, I was like, okay, this is really gonna happen. Like, okay, he's serious. We're gonna
Maybe
keep
when I'm
doing
an adult in a couple years.
Anyway, and I would document I kept a journal pretty regularly and would document conversations we would have, things he would say. He would talk. He'd say, I love you like, my own child, but at the same time, I do want to marry you. So he'd tell me how conflicted he would be, which made me feel more conflicted, but also this was my lifeline.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow.
October of my 9th grade year, my mom found my journal, and she confronted me and was just like, what's going on? She actually was able to see some of the emails between us and inquired. And I couldn't lie. I didn't lie. I definitely
Especially
felt
if you
caught.
just read it all.
Yeah, obviously caught in this big, I don't know what to do with this. Yes, you're right, Mom. Here's what's happening. I didn't tell her enough to appease her and to get her to quit asking questions. I didn't want any questions. I just wanted, I just wanted to pick up the phone and call him and say, warning, heads up, the word's out, good luck. I don't know what you do now. I don't know what happens. But my mom at that point said, stop all communication with him. So of course I was devastated.
Oh, that would be
he's the only person I was talking to and about, personal things that were a struggle in my life. And about 2 weeks later, I went and checked my email. My mom had said, do not communicate with him, but she didn't say don't check your email.
Very specific.
It's about 2 weeks after I go and I just open up my email and there's an email from him and I'm like, okay, this is weird. It's like it had been sent earlier that day. So I click on it and it's just full of like women in lingerie and men in lingerie. And I'm like,
Wait, what?
yeah, I'm like, what is going on? So my mom walks in and she's like, I told you not to check your email. I'm like, you said do not communicate with
Yes.
him. I go,
Very different.
I did. What is going on? She proceeds to tell me that she had asked. So when she read my journal, she had asked West Jordan Police Department at the time. I wasn't going to rat out West Jordan, but I just did. West Jordan, it's fine.
I just got ratted out.
It is. West Jordan Police Department, they did not have a crime. Well, the crimes against against children, Internet Task Force was like in its infancy. This was 2000. I think it was developed in I think it was created. It was either 98 or 99 that they started. But these, I mean, they didn't know what they were doing, clearly. My mom said to them, can I continue to email him like I'm Heidi and just see how far he's willing to take this? And they told her yes. So my mom continued to email him back and forth. And ultimately, he still hadn't sold his house here in Utah. So his plan was to come back here. And he was using that as a guise of like, I'm coming back. We're going to tell your mom that I need your help watching the kids while I pack. But he was telling this all to your mom. Yeah, but then he thought it was me. We're going to go back or I'm going to come to Utah, tell her I need a babysitter but it's just going to be me and we'll just have this one night escapade. I mean,
one night escapade. Wow.
I mean, he detailed out, we're going to go to the mall. That's what the pictures were. Lingerie. Here's some options of things you can choose and I can choose.
Wow.
Anyway.
Wow. He was really grooming you for that.
Oh, he had it planned out. I mean, he came. They actually, the night before he was to fly to Utah, he had detailed in the emails, okay, I'm going to call your house and I want to talk to you just to make sure, so your mom really thinks this is a thing that you're babysitting. So I had to actually talk to him on the phone. Woo! Mom said, okay, he's calling tonight.
Wow.
You have to pick up the phone and just, yes.
And it's been how long since you communicated with him between that call?
About, I'd say 6 weeks or so.
Okay.
So yeah, I had to talk to him and say, okay, yep, see you tomorrow. Yep, pick me up at 6. Sounds great. Yep, planning on babysitting. Anyway, he flew in. The night he flew in, he was arrested at his house and charged with, it was a federal crime, crossing state lines with intent to engage in sexual contact with a minor. Wow. He was booked into jail, but bailed out that same night by a friend. And then the case just fell through the cracks. That's best.
Wild.
Honestly, the best way to describe it. That's what we were told.
How does it fall through the cracks?
It just does, I guess. I'm not, isn't that great?
I like the Epstein files.
Dang.
Yes. So, I mean, I was in this, I can't even describe, just like turmoil of everyone feels like they saved me. For example, probably that week after he was arrested, one of his really good friends was a school counselor at the same school. And she called me down to her office and just wanted to check on me, which looking back, even then I appreciated it. I thought, okay, I can talk to her. But the first thing she did, she sat me down in her office and at this point, there was a new child psychologist working at the school because he had quit, because he moved. So she's like, let's take you into her office that used to be his office so you can see he's not here. You're safe. And I'm like, all I wanted was to see him.
Yeah, it's like, that's not the point because you had feelings for him. I totally get that.
So in my brain, I mean, I knew right then, I'm like, all these people don't get how attached I was to him or still am. I'm just going to, in order to survive and appease all these people around me, I have to suppress
You have to suppress everything.
feeling that I ever had.
And can I just point out just for Anna, because this is literally why I didn't say anything about my coach with Jess, because it was so attached. Even though I knew the truth, right, was still.
I can
you just didn't want to.
That.
All right. No,
So I just wanted, because she asked that one time. I was like, but you get that feeling.
And I definitely understand. I mean, they're still to this day, even more so. As an adult, I've healed. And we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it, but have come to a point where I see what everyone else saw.
Yeah.
I get that. But in the
can see it
moment,
now.
oh no, I thought I was devastated. And just thought my life is, I mean, there's no way I recover from this.
what would you say, so as an adult, how did that show up, in relationships and performance in sports?
Yeah, it's a great question in a lot of ways, but I'll try to come up with think of some specific examples that will be helpful for you. No, it's great. I like that question. I mean, so he was arrested my 9th grade year, early fall of my 9th grade year. And I mean, I did everything. I would worry that any little conversation, anytime I would talk to someone, I'm like, what do they know? What are they going to ask me? So I was always on hyper alert.
You mean like if they were trying to know about your secret? Or
Yeah, does this person know? So do you remember?
So like the paranoia and
do you remember Coach Skinner? He was police officer for West Georgia PD. He was our sophomore coach.
Yeah. I slightly know him.
And I remember thinking, this guy has to know everything. He works for West Georgia Police Department.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's he going to ask me? Does he think I'm this awful person? And so, I mean, that was
my gosh, that would make sense. So it was just in the background all the time.
Always. Every conversation, everybody. Starting to date, and that was a conversation that
was probably hard.
My abuser would have with me. He's like, I want you to date because you're so young and it's going to be years before we can actually get married. But
we can make out till then.
Sounds about accurate.
So you're sexually ready for me.
Yeah, isn't that right? So, there was like that turmoil of like, oh, so is he telling me I should date? So when I started to date, I was like, oh, I didn't even want to, but it was awful. It was hard.
And so was that just more like, and was it more hard to connect to? Like obviously when you're dating a little bit, because it's like maybe harder to trust, or like what are your intentions?
I wouldn't say boys my age were much easier. I wouldn't say I had
but that makes sense.
But adult male figures, like any other teacher, coach, church figures, bishops were hard for a really long time.
That makes a lot of sense.
LDS, they lead LDS congregations, and
because obviously you got married young, so that makes sense.
How long did he still keep contact with you?
No, so I never heard. So after he was booked, I mean, I still to this day have not. I've seen him in court.
Is he still practicing?
No, that was part of the court process that finally was re-earthed. Anyway, so we'll get there. But ninth grade, 10th grade, I just remember just being like so numb and suppressing everything. And I'm supposed to be happy because they saved me from this person. So buck up, Heidi. But
that's the worst feeling.
I honestly did. Everything. I still thought for probably 2 or 3 years that somehow it would still
You still believed
out.
it. Yeah.
Somehow we'll connect again.
So that means your senior year.
Yeah, so my junior year, I actually met...
Or sophomore, junior year.
My husband, correct. So it was January of my junior year. And I mean, looking back, so many amazing people. My high school track coaches, Steph and Fletch.
Yeah, they were amazing.
I owe a lot to them.
They truly were amazing.
They were fully aware of what was going on.
That's good.
And were super supportive. And I owe a lot to them.
I love that.
So I would say some healing had started because I felt like there were some safe adults, which was great.
Yeah.
And I did meet my husband, and he had graduated. He's about 2 years older than me, so a year and a half before that. Anyway, we met and started dating, and I quickly fell in love with him, which I think is a miracle and a blessing.
That is a miracle.
I'm just really grateful. Like, it was just meant to be. That was definitely God's hand was in that, and there's no denying that.
When you got married?
Just barely 20.
Wow.
So we dated for about 8 months, and then he served an LDS mission. He left the summer before my senior year. But in that time frame when we were getting really close, like I knew I wanted to marry him, but he wanted to go on a mission. I wanted him to. It was good.
Aw, that's awesome.
It needed to happen. Yeah. It was good. But I actually confided in him and kind of let him know a little bit about the story. And he goes, wait a minute, you're telling me he was never charged? Wow. I was like, well, charges were filed, but no, he was never, nothing. He never served any time. No. He's like, are you kidding? I mean, he was just baffled. Yeah. So his dad at the time was an investigator for the state. And he's like, can I just talk? Do you mind if I talk to my dad? So he did. His dad came to me and was like, we can go after this guy still. Like, are you up for that? And I'm, yeah. At that time, I was more like, okay, like, yes, it's the right thing.
Cool.
So I was more that I still had some feelings and were torn. It was still hard to like process.
Was it hard? I'm asking, was it hard because there were just suppressed emotions from back, like, well, maybe I don't want to like bring that up, or I don't want to actually hurt this person anymore.
Don't want to hurt this guy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of went through that a little bit. As like when I posted about my coach, I'm like, I don't really want to like hurt this person, but I feel like I need to bring awareness at the same time.
Yep, for sure. Yep, 100%. So it took about a year of work, getting things in order, interviewing people, making sure ducks were in a row before he was rearrested in Wisconsin, and charged with the same thing: federal crime, crossing state lines to engage with sexual contact with a minor. And at this point, my husband, Nate, had left on his mission. This was my senior year of high school.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. We were planning to take it to trial. We were assigned an amazing prosecuting attorney. He was awesome, but in the middle of our prepping the case, he was taken off all of his cases because he was accused of being too aggressive in his defending. I'm sure there was some defense attorney somewhere that was complaining about him, and so the state had to investigate. Just stupid politics.
What?
So we were assigned a different attorney. She was awful. My parents couldn't afford a private attorney, and I respect that and totally get that. I mean, that's just, arm and a leg for some people. Ultimately, she talked us into what's called a diversion agreement. There were enough time had passed. There were some pieces that, like, she told us, I just don't think we'll win. I think if we take this to court, he'll get away scotch-free. So which looking back, I'm like, I don't regret it, because in the moment, I remember, she was just so awful. I'm like, we're going to lose. Like, this lady doesn't believe in what we're trying to do, I guess.
You're always going to lose if that's the mindset.
It was sad. So ultimately,
woman, she didn't believe.
That's sad.
I think she was afraid of his defense attorney, honestly.
Wow.
I think that's what it boiled down to.
Wow.
He was ruthless. He was a lot, but our first
and she
attorney
didn't want to go after it. Wow.
Yeah, I think that's what it boiled down to, but whatever. A diversion agreement. Essentially, we set the terms so he can no longer practice as a child psychologist anymore. But he ultimately didn't serve any time and got to continue living his life and didn't serve any prison time. And that in and of itself was hard to process too.
Wow.
So a lot of suppression was happening, but so many good people in my life. So like I had this very hard place. I just tried to play the game of like, I need to be happy. I'm happy. My husband had come home. We got married pretty quick, like 2.5 months after he got home, we were married. And we were happy, and he's an amazing person. So I'm like, okay, I have this great life. We had to finish school. I ran track down at BYU, and that was a great experience, but also exhausting. You talk about, like, my mental capacity, school was hard for me. By the time college hit, I'm like, I just can't keep up. Like, my brain, it was about the time when we went to trial. When I say trial, we didn't go to trial. I actually did have to meet before
because of the emotional
jury.
states too. Is that what you're saying? Because of the schoolwork and the
there was just so much going on. Yeah. I did have to appear before a jury and a judge because so much time had passed. They had to unanimously vote that we could take it to trial, and my abuser was there, and I had to testify with him. I was ready for that at that point. I felt okay about it, and it all worked out in that sense. Thank goodness we got through that.
So you both were just pretty.
Yeah,
chill at the
I think just like
cordial.
Didn't really. I wanted to say our prosecuting attorney wouldn't let me make a statement, and I to this day I'm a little mad about that.
So you technically have never had any you never got to have words with him.
No
emotional words.
No.
Interesting.
No conversation. Anyway, so my entire adult life we did all we could. I feel like we did all we could to have him serve his justice, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know if when you're abused in any way that you ever fully feel like justice is served, and you kind of have to work through that. I think that's part of the process. But my adult life definitely has just been, I have 4 kids now, so challenging. Like, things would come up that would trigger, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I would just stuff it even more. Like, okay. Yes, my daughter's going to school now. I mean, that threw me for a loop. When my youngest was starting kindergarten, I'm like, I can't send her to public school where I was abused, and what am I doing? I'm insane.
That would mess
what
you
a
up.
horrible mom I am for doing this.
Yep.
And would just stuff it.
Yep.
And I thought that was best. I should be happy. I have this great life. I have this beautiful family and an awesome husband. And
We're definitely a generation of stuffers.
we got to forget about what happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
It's because that's what we're taught.
I really struggled. Postpartum was rough with each of my children.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely, there were moments where I'm like, okay, I think I have depression, but then it would get better, would ebb and flow. I got called to be, this was 2019, I got called to be a Relief Society president.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot. So essentially just, helping women with any, in our belief system, with any need spiritually, temporally, emotionally, anything that, just trying to be a support
All
to
the
women.
hats. Yeah.
And I quickly realized it was bringing up so much. I would have a conversation with someone about something that would trigger, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. So I quickly realized I got to go to therapy. Okay, I'd been to therapy before. I went to therapy post the incident, right? My parents I was grateful got me in therapy pretty quick, and that was just survival.
Yeah.
Like at
So you
that
did
point,
a little bit of therapy in high school.
did some therapy in college as well.
Okay.
When
High school and college.
2 different therapists were both great.
Okay. Cool.
Different areas. I actually struggled. One of my ways of coping, especially in high school, was I developed an eating disorder. I became so fixated on sport and just, okay, this is where I'm going to hyper focus. All my energy is going to go to track, and I'm going to not eat any sugar. And it was
That's why you're so healthy.
It was unhealthy.
And wait, don't forget to tell them when you're drinking protein shakes at 2 a.m.
Yeah, like I was so committed to this like plan of being the best athlete and being, okay, this is where everything's going. I would get up at like 2 a.m. and drink a protein shake. As a high school, like what the heck was I thinking? Anyway, developed an eating disorder. So that had to be worked through in college. That was that stint. I couldn't run. I actually went my freshman year. You have to get cleared by the team doctor. And I thank Dr. Kimball. He still actually works with BYU Athletics. He wouldn't clear me. He looked at me and he's like, you have an eating disorder. You need help. You're not running. I'm not clearing you till you get some serious help. Devastated, because in my mind, I was this amazingly strong, great athlete who followed the rules and did everything. And you're telling me I'm unhealthy? That was hard. That was a hard moment. Woo. So he got me, and he made me go back to therapy.
So it's not the
but
checklist,
I'm so grateful that he did, because I mean, I was so much was suppressed.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're jumping back to 2019. Relief Society president. I'm like, I need help. If I'm going to help these women, I got to help myself.
You got to put your mask on.
Something has got to happen. So I went, found a therapist, and I'd say you always got to give that, go 1 or 2, 3 times before you give up on a therapist. But after the 3rd time, if you're not vibing, I'm always like pro when I talk to people about therapy. I'm like, try another one. Just because you didn't like one, don't give up on therapy, because it can be so helpful. But anyway, really vibed with her and was really connecting. And after probably 4 or 5 sessions, I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell, I've never told anyone. I feel like I'm depressed. I feel like I've been depressed my whole adult life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell her. So I go into therapy. I'm like, I can do this. I'm going to tell her. And I look at her. I'm like, okay, I think I'm depressed. I really think you need to help me get on some meds. And she goes, I don't think you're depressed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just worked up all this courage. And you're sitting
and you're telling me I'm not depressed?
I was so mad. She goes, I'll tell you what I think's wrong with you. You have so much trauma, and you have suppressed it for so long, and this is a trauma. This is all trauma talking.
That was a good therapist.
It was.
I don't think a lot of
it was. And she goes, until you
do
figure that out, until you work through that.
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Yep, we're kids riding bikes. It's great.
I also wanted to make sure that was still filming.
Yeah.
Nope, you're good.
Okay.
Anyway, she just was great that way. Started really intensely with EMDR work, which it's just magic. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm so grateful. It's magical. It's like things are just more clear. Trauma would put this like block, and we unearthed some crazy things, and just peeled back the layers of.
When you say unearth, just like bringing up stuff.
Memories of
the memories.
She's like, we're gonna tackle these head on.
So we can bring them and kind of get rid of them.
Yeah, and it's EMDR is just one of the many modalities that can be used in therapy, and I've started integrating recently IFS, internal family systems, both parts work.
Parts
we
work.
talked
That's
a
what I
little
did
bit
with you a
about
little
that. It's awesome.
It's good stuff.
It's just helped, like, even, yes, I won't deny that my life has been much better. My adult life, I have so many things, but like I could not see past just the fog of trauma that I suppressed until I dug in, and I know you preach to that. That is the moral of the story.
Go deep. Wow.
Find
Face it.
something that will work for you and do not suppress it, because it doesn't work.
Yeah. Don't suppress. Don't stuff. You have to face it at some point.
Yep, there are still some things I'm working through, and still some things I'm not done with my healing journey. I may never be done. It may be a lifelong process, and I think that's life. But definitely in a much better, just like, it's not fuzzy.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love it, because I've talked to Heidi a little bit about Refined You. We brought it up with Joey in a different thing. So if you do end up going through at some point, it'll be fun to have another video after to see the layers, because like healing is such a layers game.
It really is. And sometimes when you bring something up, which then brings up 4 more things, and it can feel so discouraging at times. I mean, I'm not going to say it's all sunshine. I mean, I've multiple times I'm like, okay, I think I'm done. I think I want to quit.
Yeah.
And it's usually after a hard session, working through something. But then I always recover in a more positive way.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, it was worth it. Like that was hard, but today I feel better.
That's beautiful. So are you still working with that same therapist?
So it's a different one in the same office.
Okay,
the one
cool.
I was working, I did, probably.
And that's who you're doing parts work with and stuff.
Is a new therapist. So the first therapist who told me I probably wasn't depressed and needed to work through my trauma, I worked with her for about 2.5 years. Yeah. And I would say got through most of the EMDR memory work, essentially working through. You're trying to, I don't know if we need to talk about EMDR, but I swear by it. And I think if you feel like there's any trauma
I've heard good stuff about it from people. So
essentially just processing memories and bringing them to the present, and trying to retrain your brain that you're capable.
So you're not
now.
stuck there anymore.
And you're capable in your current state of processing these traumas that happened to you.
It's almost like you can truly, like I've done my own little processes for stuff, and it's like you can almost go to the past and rewire them to not show up in your future or your present moment anymore.
Yeah, and just not affect you physically.
Yeah.
You don't have that emotional,
it doesn't sit in you anymore.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like those emotions are actually in there.
I mean, I've wanted to talk about this and, just tell people that, there's some awful things that happen to people, but
most people are afraid to talk about it. And most people right now, even when I was telling, especially the men, some women too, but most of them freak out. Like, why would you be careful what you share on social? Like, hey, I get it. But I think that's also a lens of people that are still so fearful of their own stuff that they haven't faced.
Yeah, it's not long
And
ago.
when you're in that, it is hard. And I get that. But that's the point of like, when you start to get freedom, you're like, okay, and what? So they're going to know I did this and that happened. And what? Like, what? Like, there's awareness now. I wasn't trying to sue the man. Maybe he comes after me. I don't know. But the point is, I'm trying to help people with awareness, how to heal. Because in this day and age, I just feel like we've all been abused on some level. And until we face those things, we can't truly elevate higher.
It's like so many things in life until you experience it. Yeah. And it wasn't that long ago where I would hear people, even you, tell your story. And I wanted so bad to share mine, but I couldn't. Yeah. I was not in a place. And I'd look at people and I'm like, how are they doing that? How can they do that? Yeah. Finally.
Yes. Freedom is real.
And I just, it's one of those things in life, you just got to experience it.
And can I ask, so like, we actually did a run through of this once, but it was too windy. It kind of fell apart. But is it like even easier sharing it the second time?
Definitely.
It's crazy. Like the more you share it, just like.
And I was actually able to think about some things a little bit differently. And I'm like, I'm going to articulate that a little bit better. And so that, the more you share it, it
just flows, and it has less control. So the more healing you do, the more work you do on yourself, and the more you share, it's just like whatever it is. I'm going to call it demons, trauma, Satan. I'm just going to share those words because that's what I also believe.
Yeah.
But it like frees you from that too, that energy, and it's so nice. And so that's why with me and her, how are you guys so vulnerable at church? People in our ward, how are you so vulnerable? I was like, you just start doing it.
And
You heal, you face it, you share it, and I truly believe that's the only way. Like people in the world, in church, in anywhere, that's the direction that we have to go to truly heal.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Couldn't agree more with that.
So I am so grateful that you shot your shot to be on here today and to join this, I'm just going to call it a community now, as we gather people that do want to share, to help impact, and to guide people in the right way of this is where we all need to go. If you're struggling with something, it's time to start facing it and heal. And if you guys want to reach out to Heidi, she has social media. I'll try to tag her or drop her in any of these reels or the YouTube episode and go from there so you can ask her any questions.
I'd be happy to answer and do my best to lead people in the right direction of what could be best for them.
Yes,
So,
I love that.
Yep.
Thank you, Heidi.
Yes, thanks
Love
for letting me
you.
do this. Oh, I love you too. Alicia, you're great.
Yes.
Anna?
I was very quiet, just listening.
That was beautiful though.
Yeah, thanks.